Hello, everyone. My name is Sasha Gupta, and I'm from Wheeler High School in Marietta, Georgia. Over the course of these past few months, I had the privilege of implementing my climate action project, Perfectly Imperfect, in my community. And here is what it has accomplished so far. So first, a brief overview of my CAP. It is a food redistribution service based in Marietta, Georgia that recovers cosmetically imperfect and surplus fruits and vegetables from grocery stores and other food rescue organizations before redistributing them to food banks, schools, and other communities. It aims to reduce the environmental impacts that come from food waste while simultaneously helping those in need. To refresh everyone of what my initial goals were in December, they were to rescue 200 pounds of imperfect produce from at least 3 local farmers market vendors, redistribute this produce to at least 50 families, recruit a team of 8 student volunteers from my school, and have 75% of participating individuals to have a more positive perspective of imperfect produce, and that data would have been collected through surveys. However, I quickly learned that my progress would not be linear. I learned that to achieve my big goals, I would first have to set much smaller goals each month to keep my progress moving at least forward, with many of these goals carrying over in the first few months. Some of these included reaching out to stores continuously to obtain partnerships and talking to people involved in the food waste industry to learn how this produce is currently being handled. From these conversations, I made the choice to change some of my initial goals based on what was realistic for me to accomplish. For example, instead of moving forward with the informational cards with surveys, I pivoted to creating educational coloring sheets for elementary schoolers, which you can see here on the right. Later on, I also focused more on established food redistribution organizations and stores to partner with rather than farmers markets. Now, I did this because one of the greatest challenges I faced in the first few months of implementation was securing my first partnership, specifically with a farmers market vendor. Many of the big produce vendors were out of season as it was winter in Georgia, leading to unpredictable weather and market cancellations as well. There was also the question for need. Many of these vendors already have a process in place to deal with imperfect produce, such as cooking them into soups or pies, creating other products to sell. So I decided to expand my outreach to established organizations similar to mine that fight food waste and hunger. My December and January were spent introducing Perfectly Imperfect to my school, clubs, and community, and beginning outreach to local farmers markets. From the conversations I had in December, I refined my goals in January and pivoted the sources I planned to receive produce from. I also connected with Porch Marietta, a local food bank in Marietta. To build our relationship, Perfectly Imperfect student volunteers hosted a Valentine's Day donation drive for a local elementary school, collecting hot chocolate and other treats for students and their families, and a photo of that can be seen on the right. In February, I secured my first partnership with Food to Life Rescue Food Foundation. They are a nonprofit that is dedicated to rescuing and repurposing food for low-income and economically disadvantaged populations. James Tarver, the CEO of Food to Life, was kind enough to donate 150 pounds of produce to Perfectly Imperfect. Now, a challenge that occurred from this partnership, however, was the location. Food to Life operates in Decatur, Georgia, which is just west of Atlanta for reference. More importantly, though, it is about an hour-and-a-half drive from Marietta, where I live and operate out of. Many of the student volunteers are not able to make that drive and have the hands-on experience that was promised to them. So I aimed to secure partnerships in more accessible locations closer to my home and my school. In March, I received a second donation of about 120 pounds from Food to Life. And while I was doing that, Perfectly Imperfect's student volunteers created and distributed educational coloring pages about ugly produce to a local elementary school for students to take home over spring break. I also began communicating with Sprouts Farmers Market and Trader Joe's, both grocery stores located in very accessible areas to my school and the student volunteers. And a picture of some of the produce can be seen on the right. So in total, Perfectly Imperfect was able to rescue 300 pounds of produce, bread, snacks, and other food such as baby food. These were all donated to Porch Marietta and their food pantry partner, Family Promise. And the total people served came out to be 57 families and one elementary school. And while I did not recruit a team of 8 volunteers, Perfectly Imperfect has 5 dedicated student volunteers that I believe will carry this project forward. This entire experience has been incredibly valuable, and there are some key things that I have learned throughout this process. The first one being to simply start the conversation. I reached out to educators, business owners, and stores just to see what kind of input they could provide on the topics of ugly produce and food rescue. I learned a lot from them, and I was also able to bring more awareness to the topic of ugly produce. I also learned the importance of persistence and flexibility. These qualities are essential to create meaningful change. Without being able to adapt to new plans or remain dedicated to expanding my outreach, I would not have been able to create a large impact. Lastly, I saw that my actions do matter. I brought a project with a unique premise into my community, redirected hundreds of pounds of produce, met a lot of new people, and got people my age interested in food waste and environmental issues. Perfectly Imperfect created a ripple effect that I hope will continue on as I hand my project down. Going forward, I plan to expand the scope of Perfectly Imperfect to include share tables, and I am actually meeting with a Georgia educator next week to learn more about implementation. The current underclassmen involved with this project will continue to collect produce from local stores under the supervision of the current faculty advisor. I also plan to partner with more food banks like the Atlanta Community Food Bank to expand this project's distribution. Perfectly Imperfect has already become an important organization to Porch Marietta, Family Promise, and people in need of fresh produce, and I plan to continue my own involvement in any way I can as I leave for college. I want to first thank the entire Turning Green team for believing in me and my work all the way back in October and for providing me with this incredible opportunity to implement my CAP. I want to thank my mentor and ambassador team, Sarah Jones, Mary Jane Chandler, and Mila Shi, for your enormous support and valuable impact. I could not be more grateful. And I also want to thank all of my fellow PGC finalists. Seeing your work, ideas, and dedication to climate justice and making the world a better place inspired me in more ways than one, and I'm excited to see all that you'll accomplish. Thank you for your time.